Hello friends, welcome back to Three Barrow Farm. My name is Amy and I live here in central Victoria with my family of 5, and I just wanted to apologise in advance if you can hear the wind going through the microphone. I'm trying to find the best location to film this morning, but yeah, I'm just trying to find a spot. So I'm here at the wood pile. This is our fresh wood that we've been chopping up for basically for summer and next winter. This wood here needs to sit for a bit longer. We've got a massive stack of wood to cut through, and I probably should apologise in advance if my dogs start wrestling as well while I'm sitting here chatting to you. They're now deciding to climb the massive wood stack. And now the sun's decided to come out from behind the clouds and I've got the sun in my eyes. I might have to move into the shade in a moment, but it has been nice. Today and yesterday were very sunny days, but we have had some really cold and wet weather of recent. It has not been fantastic going out to check on the lambs every morning, but it is something that just has to be done when you live on a farm. And I guess it's one of the downsides of homesteading is that you don't get many sleep-ins unless you plan to share the animal caring and you have like a tag team. I tend to have a tag team with my kids going out to check on the lambs and that, but at the moment my kids have been getting sick, and so because they've been sick, a lot of it has just been on me, and that does take its toll at times. But seeing the cute little lambs running around really does make it all that more happier a task to do. Even if it's really blistering cold and windy and raining, it is so lovely to see those little lambs out there, to see new life on the farm. So there has been quite a bit happening in the garden. I have been getting outside, which is great this week. Last week I didn't really get out and time ran away, so there was no video last week, but there has been a lot of using up the preserves in the kitchen, and I'm hoping to get to filming some of the things that I have been cooking and using up, basically just pulling things out of the freezer and putting them all together and making something. And it's been really it's one thing that I love, is getting really creative in the kitchen when you're trying to eat what you have and not purchase as much. It's really difficult at this time of the year, especially when you start to run out of certain things. I'm definitely purchasing some vegetables that I just can't live without, and they're sort of the staples, and I'm okay with that. We're not completely fully self-sufficient here. We just try to grow as much as we can. We cook from scratch and we try to keep the costs down as much as possible. So I'm hoping to have a few videos for you soon in the kitchen. However, there are some developments happening in the vegetable gardens. I'm finding the pathways so much faster at the moment, trying to keep on top of all the weeds and everything, because it is not far now, guys. It is almost the end of July, and in August I start raising my tomato seeds. I start raising a lot of seedlings, in fact, so it's getting to that time where it's going to get really exciting. I need to do a bit of planning as to what I am going to plant this year. I want to do so much better this year than I did last year. So I really need to work on the soil. I've got some of my compost bins are ready to put out on the garden. So I'm going to be sifting the compost out on top of the soil. We're going to get another load of cow manure delivered. I can't go around and collect the manure from our sheep. It just takes too long. The alpacas is easier because they do it in piles. So I have been collecting the alpaca poo, and I have been putting it straight on the garden and into some of the compost bins as well. The celery that I planted in my celery video a few videos back, maybe, or the last video, I can't remember. So the ones that I buried all the way up, they're sort of rotting, whereas the ones that I buried only halfway up the base of the celery, they're doing so much better than the ones that I buried all the way up. So yeah, there's something there. I've got 2 more to plant out, so I shall continue the experiment with those 2 as well, and perhaps do half-half. But yeah, as I said, 2 of them look like they're rotting. I think one of them might sprout and continue sprouting, but I think the other one might die. So whether it has to do with the soil or not, I don't know. It could be a bit inconsistent with like how long they were in water for inside and that sort of thing, or how many roots they actually had on them when I planted them as well. So my chickens and some wild birds, so possibly, most definitely, the corrallas and some cockatoos have been getting into my garden and ripping the leaves. And I think I lost a couple of garlics as well. They've just chopped them off at the bottom. My garlics aren't growing as fast as they have been in previous years, and I'm not entirely sure why that's happening, but they do have some time to stay in the ground, so maybe I'm just not remembering where they've, previously how they've grown. I'm so looking forward to the weather warming up and the garden looking much greener and bigger and everything growing really nicely. But yeah, it's all about the soil. I will be probably doing just one whole video on soil and what I am giving into the soil to help improve it. All right, so I just had to move out of the sunshine because I'm just squinting all the time now, and I'm sitting on top of our wood pile. So we have a wood pile here that's under a big tarp. We haven't built a wood stacking area, like an undercover area yet, but we have been chopping our wood and carting it in on the coldest of days. The tarp has been really great at keeping everything dry, but it is a challenge in winter when you don't have an area that is accessible and you have to constantly be taking the tarp on and off, and then bringing the wood in every couple of days because we don't have an area inside to really stack the wood and keep a good amount of wood inside the house. So we do have lots and lots of projects that we still need to get done on our farm, but it is just a matter of time and also money and what comes first. And definitely when the animals start birthing, it becomes a lot about the animals, and also when it comes time to start planting out our garden again, all our time gets put into the garden and growing food. So as I said, I really, really want to get as much out of my garden as possible this year. I've always had trouble growing beans here. In Melbourne, I had no troubles at all. I think it is the openness of our garden and the fact that we're open to the elements and it gets really cold up here. So I really want to try again at growing beans and see how I go with it. I think I will experiment a bit, and I will probably sprout some. So I'll soak some overnight, plant them in the garden. I'll also plant some direct, and I'll also perhaps raise some in some seedling trays and see how that goes. One problem I have is rot. The seeds rot in the ground and then they never sprout. So I've got the dogs play fighting over here. They're having a lot of fun in the sunshine today. Okay, I just had to move away from the wood pile because the dogs were just getting very, very active and noisy. So behind me I have vegetable plot number 3, and I've mainly been working in this garden at the moment just because it's my oldest bed. So we started it when we first moved here. I would say it's been active for 7 of the 10 years we've been here. I had a couple of years where I just wasn't growing much, and 1 year where I was sick, so I didn't really get to get out here as much as I wanted. But some of the brassicas are looking really lovely because the birds haven't gotten to them, and knock on wood, that stays that way. There's also heaps of kale, and I have just noticed that my lettuce is ready to harvest some of the leaves again, so that will be lovely for lunch today. There are some things that are just taking a while to grow, and this is because I planted so late this autumn. There are a lot of weeds coming up, but there's also a lot of, I guess, what people would call weeds, but I call medicinal plants. So there's a lot of chickweed out there as well, which I'm leaving because we eat it, and I also use it for medicinal purposes as well. And I will do a video shortly on what I'm doing with the chickweed at the moment. And there are a lot of poppies in the garden as well. So I'm leaving a lot of the poppies at the end of these rows. They're sort of taking up the pathways as well, but there will be a lovely welcomed colour in the garden when they do flower, and I'm looking forward to a bit of colour in this garden. I always enjoy it when there are some poppies or some sort of flowers growing. I have got a lot of herbs in this garden, so I really struggled with growing the herbs in the front garden, in our sort of flower, fruit tree, herb garden out the front, because I wasn't out there as much and some of them just got neglected a lot. So what I'm trying to do here is raise them and hopefully get them going well, and then I'm going to split up some of the herbs I'm growing here. And I used to have a flower garden in vegetable plot number 4. It is now pretty much a grass garden. I have got some flowers still in there, but what I would like to do is plant a herb garden. So I want to make it more of a perennial. I've got to take out some of the flowers that are in there, the perennial flowers, and I've also got to get on top of that grass. So what I will do is I'll put a lot of cardboard down and a lot of manure on top when we do get our load of manure. Okay, so the breeze is picking up. I'm hoping that it's not too strong, that it's, not affecting the sound. But this is the garden here. It's basically just grass. So I've got to cut the grass, or I know we've got a little sort of hand rotary machine, so we could do some rotary hoeing in this garden bed because I'm going to smother it. I've just moved away again out of the breeze, so I'm hoping to get on top of this grass here. So basically I want to smother it like I have done with the other garden beds. So hopefully when we get the manure delivered soon, I'm hoping soon, I will get onto that bed and I will show you how I do my no-dig garden beds, or how I start them off anyhow. It's just a lot of smothering of the grass, a lot of cardboard, a lot of manure. I use manure because the compost that we got the first couple of years we were here, I found lots of bits of plastic and stuff in that compost, and it wasn't as rich as the manure. Because we do make our own compost here, I find that we have enough compost to sort of put in wherever we sort of plant a seedling. So I put a little bit of compost in directly where the seedling is, and the manure, I've just had fantastic results using the cow manure. It is composted, so it's rotted down, but it does come really hot, so you don't want to put that straight around your seedlings. So it is something that I definitely try to add into the garden in autumn, so then it's ready for spring planting, but I also haven't had any issues with putting it in the garden and then planting, like in, say, winter time, and then planting a month or two later. So we will go through all of this when I finally get my load of manure, and I will show you how I start off my beds by restarting this bed. So I already had put manure down in this and it grew a beautiful flower garden, but I just haven't stayed on top of it. And you really have to stay on top of the grass and keep the grass down around your garden beds so that the seeds don't blow into your garden, because that's when you're going to get seeds in a like weed seeds or weeds growing in a no-dig garden. And so that's basically what has happened here. I have allowed grass to grow, go to seed and around the garden, and then it got inside the garden, and the result is this. The grass has just taken over. Also, the grass from the outside is just growing into it, and yeah. So I hope you enjoyed that little update of what's happening here and what we're up to. Sorry if it was a little bit clunky, just dealing with the breeze that's coming and going, and also my dogs. But yeah, you get the gist. Things are starting to happen, and I'm getting outside a lot more now, which is good after that week of quite a bit of rain. The rain is always welcome though, and we will be receiving some more, I think, on Thursday, tomorrow. And it's just starting to feel, I'm just starting to feel things changing. There is a jonquil that's starting to put its buds out. Things are just slowly changing, but definitely when those wattle trees start to flower here, we know that spring is on its way. Early spring will be here when that starts to happen. So I definitely want to make a plan, and I want to try and stick to it as much as possible so I can get as much out of my garden this year as I hope to get. It can be really hard when things start to get busy in life, as well as all the garden prep and planting and all that starts to happen. What I have done too is I've gone through all my seed drawers and sorted through all the seeds. So I did that the other day, and that felt really good. That was a really great rainy day project to do, and it helped me feel a little bit more on top of what's happening in my garden at the moment. I couldn't get outside to weed, but I could sort through my seeds, and it enabled me to have a look at my seeds and sort of have a bit of a think about what I want to plant and how many plants I want to, sow, and yeah, just getting an idea of what I want to do this spring for summer and autumn harvest. And I tell you, I can't wait. I am really looking forward to this year. I have so much more time to dedicate to my garden, so I'm really, really looking forward to it. Once again, thank you so much for watching my video, and I look forward to bringing you another one next week. I'm pretty excited because I will be planting my first seeds in trays. It's getting closer. It's getting really exciting, guys. I'm looking forward to sharing my plan with you, and also keeping this journal log, this video log of the garden to help me in future years to correct things that I get wrong or that don't work out. Every year can be different though, depending on the weather. So we'll see how we go. See you next time, friends. Enjoy your garden. Bye.